Hi again, and welcome to my review table. Today we've got a set of products representing 3 separate price points for DAC and headphone amplifier combo units. So we've got a showdown between hi-fi, Burson audio and matrix audio. We'll compare the feature sets, value for money, and ultimately the sound quality. And hopefully this may help you determine your target price point, whether or not you're interested in such products. Starting from left to right, let's introduce our competitors, the smallest of the bunch but no slouch. Weighing in at 498 grams is the Zen Dac from hi-fi, recently introduced alongside the Zen Blue, an affordable Bluetooth streamer. What sets this unit apart is that it offers MQA decoding and a balanced output at the lowest price point of $100. In the middle of the pack, we see the Burson Audio Playmate, a very powerful Class A headphone amplifier with a capable DAC bundled inside that can all fit in a 5¼ inch expansion bay on a computer case and be powered off 12V Molex. I will note the unit I have is the stock model with no upgrades. Lastly, with the Element I from Matrix Audio, an all-in-one audio hub that's pieced resistance its lossless streaming over the network, facilitated by its internal system on chip and bespoke software that supports a range of protocols from DNLA to AirPlay for great interoperability. Effectively, it's like a computer and an audio solution in one box. So let's go over the inputs and outputs, design, material and build. Looking at the front panels, each unit adorns a 6.35mm TRS socket. The hi-fi adds a 4.4mm balanced pentagon connection for a slight boost in output power and channel separation. For headphones though, the benefits of balance are not necessary for noise reduction, as it's unlikely you have cable lengths of sufficient length to benefit. The Playmate adds a microphone input hinting towards its computer audio focus, along with a small OLED display and a total of 3 control inputs. Element I appears minimal on the front, but has a bigger screen and 4 control inputs, along with an included remote for navigation. Its focus is definitely more hi-fi rack than desktop. Heading back, we see we have support for I/O on the Element I, featuring 4 physical digital input connections and 2 logical ones. By logical I'm referring to network streamed or locally attached storage through one of the USB host ports. We have 2 analog outputs including balanced XLRs, these for studio monitors or perhaps a power amplifier. All of the units feature RCA outputs, but only hi-fi and Matrix Audio have the option for fixed or variable line output. The Burson Audio can only operate as variable. We also see a wireless antenna and ground connection. None of the devices feature analog inputs to just use the headphone amplifier and bypass the DA converters. Moving on to the Playmate, we see 2 options for power input, either by the included switch mode multi-voltage brick or 12V Molex. Again with the hi-fi, we see 2 power inputs, either USB or external 5V. The intent here being you could upgrade to a linear power supply, likewise on all of the other devices. Let's now talk about build and design. All 3 devices feature anodized aluminium with various grades of finishing. Element I is by far the smoothest and most premium. No sharp edges, everything is either chamfered or rolled. Both Playmate and Zen Dac feature brushed aluminium front panels. The hi-fi also has this on the back. Zen Dac and Playmate also both feature polymer pads which they sit upon, whilst Element I opts for some machined feet. Playmate has a good quality front panel, but cheaper chassis, though there are no rough edges. The screen is not centered though, and does not fill the entirety of its window. Hi-fi has an odd rough texture to the casing, and does exhibit very sharp edges that you could cut yourself with or scratch yourself on. For volume controls, Zen Dac has a potentiometer, which I found did exhibit noise, whilst Playmate and Element I use rotary encoders, both with pronounced clicks when turned. Both did not exhibit any noise, but Playmate's encoder did have the tendency to jump or skip in the opposite direction when turned. The easiest unit to take apart and even modify with upgrades would definitely be the Playmate. Burson Audio make it very easy with socketed op amps and encourage rolling by including an Allen key in the box, whilst the others are not intended to be opened, but if I hazard a guess, the hi-fi Zen Dac would be the next easiest to do so. Right, let's start talking about features and specification. The table is mostly dominated by ESS Saber DACs, albeit the Zen Dac, which supports the Texas Instruments 1793. All 3 use XMOS USB controllers. I believe XU208 on the Element I and the Playmate, and an XU216 on the Zen Dac to support MQA decoding. These are all very prevalent throughout the industry. The Playmate implements an ESS 9038 mobile variant with a Class A headphone amplifier using op amps to deliver 2 watts into a 32 ohm load, the most powerful on the table. With an output impedance of 2 ohms, this DAC achieves a signal to noise ratio of 120 dB, but a headphone amplifier falls short at 96 dB. Element I steps the DAC and implementation up a notch, with a Pro variant of the 9028 delivering 127 dB signal to noise ratio and a headphone amplifier capable of 1.3 watts into a 32 ohm load, impedance of just 0.6 ohms, and a signal to noise ratio of 115 dB, making it a good choice for sensitive IEMs as well as headphones. Each unit has adjustable frequency response filters that affect how inaudible sounds are cut off. Zen Dac only offers 2, which are changeable through a simple firmware flash. By default it uses a slow linear phase filter, but iFi has since made available its GTO filter, developed for its highest end products. This filter is supposed to work best on PCM audio. Playmate and Element I offer the same 7 filters, as defined by their ESS DACs. Differences between filters are very subtle, and most are indistinguishable, but going from apodizing to minimum phase, you'll hear a difference in the high frequency response. In terms of features, each product offers something unique to the table. Zen Dac is able to decode MQA, and has a balanced output, along with its one-click true bass adjustment, which may help to warm up certain headphones. Playmate has a microphone input, can be installed into a 5¼ inch expansion bay, and be powered off 12V Molex. It also supports an optional remote and allows the user to easily roll op amps to fine-tune the sound quality or signature. Element I implements a class-leading DAC and includes a very capable and great sounding network streamer that supports lossless audio. It also has excellent I/O and the included app to control the device. Now let's talk about sound. It will come at no surprise, the best sounding of the bunch is also the most expensive. The sound from the Element I is the most detailed and resolving of all 3, delivering a flat frequency response and best signal it can. It can sound a little dry at times, but never shrill. It leaves your headphones to determine the overall sound signature. I mentioned this in the review of my Matrix Audio Element I, that being able to discern more detail is most obvious in the bass regions, where cheaper DACs or amplifiers will have higher degrees of distortion at these lower frequencies. The Playmate follows suit with its mostly flat tuning, but does attenuate the high frequencies just a bit more, but offers a roller filter in the menus to try and counteract this. It's got good detail retrieval, and is a step above the iFi. Zen Dac is the most coloured of all, with a subtle V-shaped sound signature, and so mids do become slightly recessed. It has the least detail out of the bunch, and I found sounded worse when paired with my sensitive IEMs. With headphones it was not so bad. The GTO filter does help to improve the detail retrieval just a little bit. Right, moving on to value for money. Each product scores well here. I think the iFi and the Matrix Audio offer the best value for money, as the feature sets are highly competitive at their respective price point. The Zen Dac offers one of the cheapest ways to try out MQA decoding, and the Element I's nearest competitor is 3 times the price. You'd be hard pressed to find equivalent separates for less. Playmate offers less value for money, but one of the most powerful headphone amplifiers in its class, and may hold certain appeals to a particular type of user. However, its price can be beaten with separates. I think for the majority, the best value is within the $200 to $400 price range for these class of devices. Here you'll see the most improvement in output power, DACs and quality of build, the likes of the shit hell topping DX7 and Chord Mojo. Higher tier products like the Element I need to have distinguishing features and class leading performance to set them apart. Matrix Audio seem to be doing well here, and entry level products like the Zen Dac need to appeal to a broad range of users, but enough quality as to become the gateway drug into high-end audio. So I hope that those comparisons were useful to somebody. Maybe check out some of my other content and consider subscribing.